Well, here's our dose of just the news for you today on the 23rd of March. We have several updates for you. I'm going to try and keep it close to 10 minutes as much as we can. The Union Cabinet today has decided that everyone above the age of 45 can get vaccinated for COVID-19 starting the 1st of April. No, this is not an April Fool's joke. Remember, up till now, we started a first phase, which was for healthcare workers and frontline workers. The second phase involved all senior citizens above the age of 60 and those above the age of 45 with comorbidity. So they had to carry a doctor's certificate. Now, the next phase, which will start on the 1st of April, will be everyone above the age of 45. No need to carry the doctor's certificate. And that's the big important announcement coming in today. Also, Union Minister Prakash Javadekar has said the second announcement, which is increasing the gap between the two doses of specific Covishield vaccination from what used to be about a month to 6 to 8 weeks, is based on scientific advice. Remember, the gap has been increased for Covishield and not for Covaxin. This is specifically because research has shown that when the gap is increased, so if you get your second dose about a month apart, then your efficacy is about 72%. But if you get the second dose about 8 weeks apart, 6 to 8 weeks apart, the efficacy is now 90% and that is why this recommendation has now been made. Sort of clarification coming in from the government. This comes, of course, as there has been a surge of COVID cases across the country, but the number of people we are vaccinating is going up. According to the government, we have now vaccinated a total of 4.85 crore people across the country. Many have got their second doses. 32.5 lakh people got their vaccination in the last 24 hours. Remember, back in February, we were doing about 3 lakh people a day. We're now doing 32 lakh people a day. But there's still a concern about the fact that we're in the second wave and we need to be vaccinating more people. Take a look at the numbers of that second wave. India reported 40,750 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours and 199 deaths. It's terrible, of course. Some of the doctors we spoke to said that we should be vaccinating fast enough to avoid any deaths altogether. Maharashtra remains the worst state affected. 24,645 cases reported in the last 24 hours, down from the 25,000 cases we were reporting per day last week. Some information from what's happening in different state governments. The Punjab Chief Minister has asked the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to make a decision to allow the vaccination for everybody. He said specifically because a lot of the testing has shown that 81% of the samples tested in Punjab are specifically from the UK variant. Now, according to the Chief Minister, he says that the UK variant is affecting younger people, and it has been proven that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, Covishield, which is available in India, is very effective against this particular variant. And that is why he is appealing to the government to allow this vaccination to be made available to everybody, irrespective of their age. Remember, according to Union Health Ministry data, a total of 795 people have been infected by these different variants from UK, Brazil, and South Africa. In Andhra Pradesh, because of the terrible summer and the COVID cases, Andhra Pradesh government has announced that school timings will be reduced to half a day starting the 1st of April. Students will have classes only from about 7:45 to half past noon between classes 1 and 10. This is according to the News Minute. Of course, one understands how this would work in the summer for the summer heat, but as far as COVID cases are concerned, half a day wouldn't make too much of a difference. In Uttar Pradesh, all schools up to class 8 in Uttar Pradesh will remain closed from the 24th of March to the 31st of March. Educational institutions that do not have to conduct exams will close right up to the 31st of March. In Goa, the government and the health minister have said that they're considering a proposal to make everyone who flies in from neighboring states, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Kerala, mandatorily carry a COVID test which shows them to be negative. The minister has also said a fresh set of SOPs would be notified for Goa for gatherings in public places, weddings, and restaurants. A lot of people have been rushing to Goa to holiday where there haven't been too many restrictions, but it's likely those restrictions will be brought in now. Moving on to updates from the state of Maharashtra, where the controversy after the former police commissioner accused the Home Minister of grave corruption continues. Now it has become a battle of press conferences between representatives of the two sides, the government, which is the Shiv Sena, the NCP and the Congress, and the opposition led by the BJP and Devendra Fadnavis. Now, in that latest update, you'll remember that Sharad Pawar held a press conference where he said that the minister who has been accused was actually in hospital with COVID and then home quarantine. So none of the meetings he has been accused of having could have actually happened. In response, Devendra Fadnavis, former chief minister, has said that perhaps Pawar Saab was not properly briefed. He has said, this is Fadnavis saying that as per police records of VIP movement, Anil Deshmukh went to the Sahyadri guest house in Mumbai on the 17th of February and Mantralaya on the 24th of February. Even though he was in home quarantine, he met officers and was not in isolation. He said Pawar Saab has not been briefed properly, suggesting that Sharad Pawar was mistaken in the statement he made yesterday, or perhaps it was not an entirely accurate statement. Now, remember also Fadnavis has said that he has 6.3 GB of data of calls of various people in the government. He said these calls have been intercepted by former Commissioner of Intelligence Rashmi Shukla with due permissions, where the names of several key police officers and the money that was being paid for posts of police officers were discussed. Now, Rashmi Shukla has since then been transferred out of the position of Commissioner of Intelligence. In response to that, NCP's Nawab Malik had a press conference today where he said all of these accusations are false. He said Rashmi Shukla is a BJP agent and she was recording phone conversations during the transfer of power in the state without adequate permissions. He's also called, Devendra Fadnavis has called for a CBI probe into the matter, saying that information about people paying money for police posts was given to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, but he did nothing about it. So accusations flying fast and loose from both sides right now in Maharashtra. Not a great place really for the citizens of this state and the confidence that they have in government and in police. Updates also on the Mansukh Hiran murder case. The Maharashtra ATS held a press conference today, the anti-terror squad that was investigating this case, where it said that the primary accused is Sachin Vaze, and he was the mastermind of the Mansukh Hiran murder case. That there is also a possibility, they said, of other suspects being arrested over the next few days. Vaze is currently in NIA custody until the 25th of March, but the ATS, we understand, is approaching the NIA court to seek its custody. So far, the ATS has arrested 3 other people in this case. Now, interestingly, there was information about the fact that the case was transferred to the NIA, but the ATS continues to investigate this case. And we will, of course, bring you more updates as and when we get them in what is turning out to be a very complicated situation here brewing on the ground in Mumbai. There are 2 cases, one of the explosives outside of the Ambani residence and the other of the murder of Mansukh Hiran, who was the owner of the SUV in which the explosives were placed. It does seem, of course, that tainted police officer Sachin Vaze is prime accused in both of those cases. In the meantime, Maharashtra's Amravati independent MP, Navneet Rana, has alleged that Shiv Sena's MP Arvind Sawant threatened her in the lobby of the Lok Sabha and warned that she would be jailed for speaking up against the Maharashtra government. In a letter and in a public statement, Navneet Rana said today, the way Shiv Sena parliamentarian Arvind Sawant threatened me, it was an insult not just to me, but to all of the country's women. Hence, I seek strictest action by the police against Arvind Sawant, end quote. All right, let's take a look at the international news right now. Norway plans to build the world's first ship tunnel under the Norwegian mountains. According to CNN, Norway plans to construct a ship tunnel that will help vessels navigate the treacherous Svatvaret Sea, which has now been approved. It will be a 118-foot wide tunnel through the mountainous peninsula and will cost $330 million and take 4 years to in fact finish construction. Also, Germany plans to extend its COVID restrictions till the 18th of April and an even stricter lockdown for the 5 days over Easter. Now, due to Easter, restrictions will be even tougher between the 1st and the 5th of April, when most shops will be shut and gatherings will be limited. Chancellor Angela Merkel has said we are now in a very serious situation. Terrible news coming out of Australia. Videos of the staff of the Australian Conservative government have now been leaked performing acts of sex inside of the Parliament building, including one man allegedly masturbating over a female MP's desk, which has now been leaked online. According to reports by the Australian media, several staff members had set up a Facebook Messenger group and they were sharing images and videos of sexual acts being performed inside of the Parliament House. This comes as another blow for Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, as he is already under pressure for his handling of sexual assault allegations involving members of his staff. Morrison has called the behavior disgraceful and absolutely shameful. News from the world of science right now, and this time from India's own ISRO. ISRO has said that it has successfully demonstrated free space quantum communication over a distance of 300 meters. In a statement, ISRO says that this is a major milestone achievement for unconditionally secured satellite data communication using quantum technology. The experiment is a major breakthrough towards ISRO's goal of demonstrating satellite-based quantum communication, where ISRO is gearing up to demonstrate technology between two Indian ground stations. Also, a quick look at sports, and then I'll leave you with some positive news. In sports, 5 Indian wrestlers, including Haryana's Sonam Malik, will compete at the Asian Olympic qualifying event and the 2021 Senior Asian Wrestling Championship that will be held in Kazakhstan in April. Apart from Sonam, 4 other wrestlers include Seema, Anshu Malik, Nisha Dahiya and Pooja Shihag, who will also compete in that event. Leaving you with a touch of positive news before we wrap up this bulletin, 28-year-old Anaya Kumari Alex has become the first transgender person to contest, an assembly election in Kerala. Anaya is also known to be Kerala's first transgender radio jockey. She'll be contesting assembly polls from Vengara constituency as a candidate of the Democratic Social Justice Party. That brings us to an end of tonight's news. Of course, leave us a comment. Share this bulletin with as many people as you can and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe to our channel on your parents' phones so that they can get this update and they can get the news without any noise, no shouting, no opinion. Thanks for watching. Good night.